America is being likened to Rome prior to its fall. Is it appropriate to see the fall of these two powers as being connected to the predominance of Christianity at the time?
History has moved up to now in circles. That is what is meant when it is said that history repeats itself. It need not be so. It should not be so. But unfortunately, it has been so up to now. There is a certain law behind this phenomenon of history moving in circles. I call it the law of mediocrity. Because anybody who has any intelligence could have seen that we have been doing the same kind of mistakes again and again and again. The mistakes are the same, the situations are the same. It is unbelievable that how mediocre is human mind. First, let me explain you the law of mediocrity. I have said to you that religion comes into existence only when a society reaches to the peaks of luxury. Religion is the ultimate expression of all the luxuries. It is simple and obvious to understand. There are physical needs which should be fulfilled first, because without the body, the soul may melt and merge into the cosmos, but it cannot live on the earth. Jesus says man cannot live by bread alone. This is only the half of the truth. And remember, half-truths are more dangerous than complete lies. At least they are complete. And because they are lies, sooner or later they will be found out. But the half-truth is dangerous. In the first place, because it is half, and truth cannot be half. Just as a circle cannot be half, you cannot say that this is half circle. Circle means complete. If it is half, then it is only an arc, not a circle. It is just part of a circle. Circle it will be only when it is complete. The half-truth is dangerous in the first place because the truth can only be when it is total, whole. It cannot be half. But because it pretends to be the half-truth, you will not be able to detect it as a lie either. It has some fragment. It may be an arc only, but still it is part of the circle. It is not circle, but it is part of the circle. In some way, it is a fragment of truth. That fragmentariness is very deceptive. You can go on believing in it for centuries. Jesus says man cannot live by bread alone. It is a half-truth. It will be whole only when the other half is also added to it. Yes, it is true man cannot live by bread alone. But it is even more truer that man cannot live without bread either. In fact, man may be able to live without music, art, religion, literature, science, but man cannot live without bread. Bread is a basic necessity. So when the physical needs are there, no great music is born. No great literature is born. No poetry is written. Hungry stomachs don't produce poetry. Dying bodies cannot dance. So when the society is poor and its basic needs are not fulfilled, there is no possibility of an authentic religion. Yes, there will be something in the name of religion. But that religion will be a religion not of affluence, of overflowing ecstasies. It will be a religion of the beggar. And you can look at poor countries. Their religion consists of demands. Their prayers consist of asking God, give us this, give us that, give us our daily bread. Their rituals are continuously to persuade God for something or other. Perhaps rains have not come and they will do some religious ritual. Or perhaps too much rain is there. It has to be stopped. They have to pray to God. One thing is certain, whatever they do in the name of religion is concerned with their physical needs. God is just a father figure, and they believe that the Father will help them in times of need. Poor societies, civilizations, cultures have a very poor religion too. It is a kind of compensation. What they are missing here, they project in heaven. Look at the ancient scriptures. They say in heaven there will be never a starvation. Those people must have been starving. Whoever has written that must be starving. We don't know who wrote that, but this can be absolutely said that he was starving, his society was starving, and they were trying to find some consolation that it is only a question of few years. They will pass. In heaven there is no starvation. Nobody will be sleeping hungry. All the religions in their scriptures provide things in heaven which are being missed here. Beautiful palaces. And to people who don't have even grass huts, bamboo huts, to these poor people they are giving the hope of marble palaces in heaven. You can see the simple strategy. They are giving them dreams. And all poor societies have lived out of those dreams, hoping, hoping, hoping And then death comes. And nobody knows what happens after death. Nobody comes back. So the others continue to hope. In Indian scriptures, the heaven is air conditioned. The word is not used because the word was not available at that time. Air conditioning is a new phenomenon. And this is the first ashram in the whole history of man which is air conditioned. Centrally air conditioned. 3,000 sannyasins have never lived before. But air conditioning was in the minds. In a hot country like India, where people die every year, hundreds of people by sunstroke, a hope was needed that in heaven it will always be cool, neither hot nor cold. Because the poor person suffers from both. When it is too hot, he suffers because he has no protection, no shelter. When it is too cold, he suffers because he has no clothes, no shelter. Cool, just morning cool. When the sun rises and there is no heat. In heaven it is always sunrise time. Sun never becomes noon, evening. No, it is simply hung there for eternity, and cool air continues to blow. There is no dust in heaven. Obviously, if you have lived in India, you know in heaven, if there is also dust, then what is the point of the religion and all the practices and all the prayers? No perspiration. You can see the psychological strategy. In India, everybody is perspiring the whole day. It is so hard. They have to be compensated somewhere. They have suffered enough here. So their heaven has to be just the opposite of it. Poor people, poor countries have a very bogus religion. It is not religion, it is a psychological compensation. It is selling dreams to hungry people. Just trying to convince them that don't be worried. Blessed are the poor, for they shall inherit the kingdom of God. Jesus gives no argument why the poor are blessed. Strange it is, nobody ever asked this man, what qualifications poverty fulfills. It must be fulfilling some qualifications. As we see, it is just the opposite. Cursed are the poor. Who says blessed are the poor? Condemned and cursed. These are actual facts. To cover it up, just the opposite is proposed. Blessed are the poor. Why nobody asked a simple question that what are the reasons that you call the poor blessed? Because we see all the blessings are with the people who are rich. And Jesus says that even a camel can pass through the eye of a needle, but a rich man cannot enter into the kingdom of my God. Naturally, the rich people were very few. And those were not even bothered about this carpenter's son, uneducated, illiterate. Jesus was trying to convince the 99% people who were poor. It was worth sacrificing the 1%. To make his statement that blessed are the poor, he has also to make another statement that cursed are the rich. What more can be? Than not to be able to enter into the kingdom of God. What more punishment there can be? They will be falling into hell for eternity. At least Eastern religions have some arithmetic. Christianity has none. Eastern religions have some logic. Christianity has none. Eastern religions believe that you have thousands of lives. Naturally, you live millions of years. You can commit immense number of sins. Still, the Eastern hell is not eternal. They say you will suffer in hell to the point that you have committed sins. Once your sins have been punished and your punishment is equal to your sins, you will be released. In Christianity, there is only one life. 70 years, 80 years, 90 years, 100 years. In 100 years' time, how can you commit so many sins that the punishment will be eternal? Do you see that Christianity lacks all arithmetic? But Jesus was not interested, and neither he was capable of giving a logical, rational explanation. He was exploiting people through their emotions, their sentiments. The poor were happy to hear that they are blessed. They felt proud of being poor. Why they should inquire what qualifications we do have which make us blessed. They were afraid themselves that if Jesus cannot prove, then all their hope is lost. So poor will not ask. And the rich people never came to listen to him. They never bothered about him. He was nobody, a non-entity. The poor were happy that they are blessed and the rich are cursed. So it is only a question of few years, not even few lives. In the Eastern religions, you will have to wait thousands of lives. In Christianity, one life is all. So it is only a question of few years. You have already passed so many, you will pass others also. And then will come the day of compensation, which Jesus called the day of judgment. It is really the day of compensation. The poor will enter into heaven, and the rich will be thrown into the depths of hell. I call it the day of compensation. The rich have enjoyed enough. Now it is time for them to suffer. It is strange. Why? Enjoyment, is it a sin that you have to suffer for it? Is suffering a virtue that you will be blessed because you suffered? Then natural conclusion is suffer more, be miserable more miserable, more in anguish, more you will be blessed. In fact, I sometimes have been thinking that there are so many poor people who will be first in the queue. It will be going to be almost impossible to decide that who is the poorest. Ethiopians, I think, are going to defeat everybody. Americans are going to hell without question. They need not Wait for the judgment day. I give the judgment. They are bound towards hell. Ethiopians are really blessed according to Christianity. These religions are just exploiting people, giving them dreams and hopes. And because you give them dreams and hopes, you become messiahs, prophets. You gain out of it. You give them empty dreams, and they make you great leaders of humanity. The law is, when a country is poor, its religion is false. Its real need is material. A poor country needs science, technology. So whatever is said on the surface is one thing, but a poor country goes on trying to become rich. In India, you can see that people from all over the world were coming to me. The number of Indians was very small. And once in a while, a Indian was puzzled. And he will ask me that what is happening? People from all over the world are coming to you. And Indians, I say, once in a while, they also come. But their needs are different. They come here to get some financial help from me or from my followers. Some recommendations, because they want to go for studies to England, to America, to Germany. They want to become engineers, doctors, professors. They were not coming to me for meditation. Just the other day, and I receive almost every day. One letter I received of a famous Indian actor, film actor, Shashi Kapoor. He had come to see me for 10 minutes, one time only, in 1970. After that, I remained in Bombay, where he lives and has his studio and produces his films, and he is one of the topmost film people in India. After that, I lived for 4 years in Bombay. He never came. For 7 years, I lived in Pune. He never came. And he was always coming to Pune for shooting his films. On the contrary, he was telling people everything possible against me. I came to know it because he was working as a hero in Herman Hesse novel Siddhartha, which has been made a film. Some English producer wanted to see me, and Shashi Kapoor was his hero. He prevented him. He said, there is no need. This man was really Bhagwan, the Blessed One. Before he was known as Bhagwan. Since he became known as Bhagwan, and he has not denied it, he has fallen. He is no more in the same state of consciousness. So he was very much against of me being called Bhagwan. He wanted me to make a public statement that I am not what people think I am. It was really a dilemma for me. I can say that, but it will be a lie. I don't want anybody to call me anything. But specifically to say that I am not the Blessed One will be a lie. And that I cannot do. Yesterday I received his letter. He is now in great financial trouble. $4 million he needs. Now he remembers me. This was the situation in India, this is the situation here. Now he is immensely interested. But the interest is not in me. The interest is in $4 million. Now he knows that this is one of the richest commune in the world. We have already poured into this big muddy range almost $200 million. So naturally he can think that $4 million is nothing for us. But to approach me for finance is idiotic. I don't possess anything. I am the poorest man. In fact, if blessed are the poor, then the Ethiopians should remember I will be first in the queue. Because howsoever poor they may be, they must be possessing something. I don't possess anything. I simply use. I don't possess. You cannot find another man so poor as me. For almost 30 years I have not had any pockets because there is nothing to keep. So I told my tailors that drop the pockets because unnecessarily some pickpocket may follow and waste his time and finally find an empty pocket because I don't have anything. I don't need the pockets even to keep my hands, because if I keep my hands in the pocket, then I cannot talk. They are absolutely useless. So for 30 years, I have not been having any pockets. I don't possess a single cent. But the Indians are poor. Their religion today, I am not talking about their past, is a poor religion. They go to the temple to ask God for something. And whenever you go to the temple or the church to ask, that's an indication of a false religion. Whenever you go to the temple and church to give something, then it is the sign of a real religion. The authentic religion has nothing to ask. It has much to share, much to give. To understand the law, you will have to see this. The poor country remains interested in science, technology, engineering, medicine. And of course, if it continues to remain interested in these things, sooner or later it will become rich. When it becomes rich, then of course its interest changes. It starts thinking of painting, of music, of art, of literature, of poetry. If it goes on becoming more richer, which is a simple process, once you know how to be rich, then you go on becoming richer and richer. Money goes on attracting more money. Money goes on producing more money. It is something autonomous. Once the wheel starts moving, then it goes on moving on its own accord. When you are satisfied with all the pleasures of the body, then certainly your psychological needs are there, which can be fulfilled by music, art, dance, drama, literature, sculpture. Soon they are also satisfied, because these are limited needs. Body has a limitation. Its pleasures are very few. Food and sex. How much you can eat. And you cannot eat gold. You cannot eat diamonds. What a shame. You have gold, you have diamonds, you have all these beautiful things, and you cannot eat. You can have sex, but there again the trouble. There is a limitation. By the time a man becomes rich, he becomes impotent. Or almost impotent, which is even worse. If you are really impotent, you are finished with it. You know it. But if you are almost impotent, then your mind goes on thinking of it, trying to find some panacea, some doctor, some plastic surgeon, Leeladhar. Some hope something can be done. Some injections, some hormones. You are in real misery. But even if you don't become impotent by the time you become rich, or perhaps you are born rich with a silver spoon in your mouth, this idea of silver spoon in the mouth must have arisen in a poor country. Otherwise, why not say golden spoon in the mouth? Why say silver spoon? It must have arisen in a very middle class society where silver is something very valuable. Why not a diamond studded spoon? Your proverbs, your words, everything has a history and a psychology behind it. Even if you are born rich, then there is even more problems. Because then you can have as many relationships with as many women as possible. And that is one of the calamity that can happen to a man. Monogamy is really something very protective. Protective of your dreams, hopes, protective of your flights of imagination. Stuck with one woman, you are certainly fed up of her. She is fed up of you. But both are free in their imagination. And both can enjoy in imagination other men, other women. And both can go on thinking that that woman is the real beauty. One can never think of one's wife as a beauty. When Mullah Nasruddin got married, in Mohammedans, this is a tradition. As the wife enters the husband's house, the first thing she asks the husband is, because Mohammedan women use burqa, a black veil on their face. You cannot see them. Just they have two small holes in their veil, so they can see. You cannot see them. The tradition is the woman asks her husband the first thing, that before whom I am allowed to open my veil. Husband's permission is needed, so he can tell that before my father or before my brother or before my uncle, these are the people you can open your veil, there is no problem. Except these people, you have always to keep yourself veiled. Mullah Nasruddin's wife asked him, he said, it is very simple. Except me, you can open your veil to anybody. Just forgive me. Anyway, in the daytime, I will never be home. And in the night, I cannot see. It is dark. Moreover, my eyesight is not right. But in the day, if by chance I have to come home, please, don't open your veil. Nobody is interested in anything that you have got. Your interest is only till you get it. In fact, it is an egoistic trip, a challenge. In monogamy, every other woman is a challenge to you. Every other man is a challenge to you. You cannot get them. And they look so beautiful, so smiling, so happy, that when you compare them with your wife, who is always nagging, and is always bothering you for this and for that, when you compare these beautiful women on the beach, smiling in the wind, in the sun, you feel so sad. But you don't know, these women's husbands also are in the same trap. These women on the beach turn into bitches when they go home. These same women. So monogamy is really very protective. It keeps your interest alive. Men remain alive thinking of women. Women remain alive thinking of men. And all poetry, pornography, novels, films are filled of only one thing: love story. Because that is the only thing that is missing. Everybody is missing. At least in the story, he can have a certain satisfaction. He can get identified with the actors, with the characters, and forget his personal misery for 2 hours while he is looking in a movie, sitting in a movie. If you are rich enough, you can have as many women, as many men you want. And that is the tragedy. When you come in contact with many women, you are surprised that it is the same woman again and again and again. Comes in all shapes, all sizes, but it is the same woman. Just scratch a little bit, and you find the same woman again. And the same is true about men. They may look different, but that is only the container. Containers can be different. Just like American cars. Cadillac, Lincoln. Just the containers are different. The content is absolutely the same. Under the bonnet, don't look. I have never looked under the bonnet, and I am not going to look ever. Because why unnecessarily kill your dreams? It is murderous. I never go to the garage. Aves is waiting. He is the director of my garage. He is waiting. I am not going to come. Because to see under the bonnet is so disappointing. But when you are rich, you open so many bonnets. And it is nobody's fault. Just you have money enough so you can open many bonnets. And under the bonnet, it is always the same mechanism. You get fed up with food, with sex. You start looking for something higher. That's when you start moving into higher dimensions, psychological satisfactions. The physical world is finished. Now you would like Beethoven, Leonardo da Vinci, Dante, Shakespeare, Dostoevsky, Tolstoy. Then many dimensions open. Of course, the psychological world is wider than the physical, but not unlimited. Soon that is finished too. Soon you know all the best music, all the best literature, all the best art. Then what? That is the point when real religion enters in life, the spiritual needs. A real religion happens only in a very luxurious, rich, affluent society. Now I can explain you the law. When somebody becomes interested in religion, really involved and committed in a search for truth, for some experience of consciousness, he realizes that he wasted his whole life unnecessarily in food, in sex, in music, in literature. It was all waste. He could have been in this ecstasy for all that time. He starts condemning. He condemns food, he condemns sex, he condemns music, he condemns literature, he condemns every body, mind needs. And these are the topmost genius people of a society who have reached to religious consciousness. When they all start condemning, the circle starts moving downwards. The society listens to them, and they are evidence of what they are saying. Everybody is miserable and they are not. Everybody is in suffering and they are so blissful. There is no need for any other argument. They are their arguments. It happened. One of the most famous logician of this century in India, was Kesav Chandra Sena. He was really the same type of man as Bertrand Russell, Ludwig Wittgenstein. Who could go to any depth arguing? Ramakrishna was at his highest peak of samadhi, superconsciousness. Kesav Chandra said that I will go and put that old idiot. He was illiterate. And Kesav Chandra was world famous, everywhere recognized as one of the finest logicians who has ever existed. It was a challenge that people were going to Ramakrishna. They both lived in Calcutta. That the whole Calcutta is moving towards Ramakrishna and nobody comes to Kesav Chandra. This was a great challenge. He informed Ramakrishna that I want to argue with you because I can prove there is no God, I can prove there is no heaven, I can prove there is no superconsciousness, I can prove there is no soul, and it is all nonsense and you are exploiting people. And if you cannot prove, you will have to become my disciple. If you prove, I will become your disciple. Ramakrishna's disciples were very much worried and concerned. Ramakrishna was a simple man, innocent, childlike, so much so childlike that even in the middle of the street, somebody will utter the name of God and he will go in ecstasy. He will start dancing there in the middle of the road. The whole traffic will be blocked. The policeman will come that Paramhans Deva, please, this is road. But he was such a simple man, so innocent, loved by everybody. All his disciples were very much afraid. It is difficult to face Kesav Chandra. What Ramakrishna will do, what he will argue. He has never given any argument for anything. But Ramakrishna was very happy. He said, tell him, come tomorrow. Or come right now. Why wait? Kesav Chandra came with all his great logician disciples to show them that how he can dismantle this old idiot who is dominating the whole Bengal and has become the only religious topmost leader in the country. Many people from Calcutta just came to see what is going to happen because it is a rare occasion. Perhaps never before it has happened that a man of the quality of Ramakrishna and the man of the qualities of Kesav Chandra arguing. Ramakrishna, seeing Keshav Chandra, ran and hugged him. That was enough to make him embarrassed. He was not hoping that, and Ramakrishna said, I am so happy. So you have come to defeat me. Great. Nobody comes. At least you thought of me. So kind of you. Just come and defeat me. But Keshav Chandra said, how to defeat you? First you give some argument. Ramakrishna says, argument? I am the argument. You defeat. There was absolute silence in the crowd. Keshav Chandra looked silly. He had never thought that a man will say, I am the argument. You defeat. But Keshav Chandra was also a sincere man, not just a poor logician. He looked into the eyes of Ramakrishna and fell into his feet, and he said, I am defeated. If you are the argument, and certainly you are the argument, I can see it. When a religious man is there, his presence creates a climate. And when there are so many religious people, the whole country is vibrant with their being. And they all are up to now been condemning everything that has really led them to their state of consciousness. So when all the religious leaders of a country condemn materialism, attachment to body, attachment to this, attachment to that, and start teaching people tastelessness, celibacy, the country starts shrinking. It stops being creative. It drops its sciences, its technology. It starts following these great religious people, not knowing that you cannot follow them. You are destroying the very ladder they have climbed upon. And it is very easy for them, standing on the roof, to tell you that destroy this ladder, it is useless. It wasted our so much time. On each rung of the ladder, we wasted our life. Just burn it. It is so easy from the roof. And these poor idiots burn the ladder and destroy the very basis upon which religion becomes authentic. The country starts becoming poor again. Civilization disappears, culture disappears. This is the circle, the vicious circle. It will continue to become poorer and poorer and poorer and poorer till the very last, when poverty means death. Any more step into poverty and there will be death. It is at that moment, but it takes centuries to reach that state. And by that time, all those dwellers on the roof have disappeared. Nobody is there to condemn. They start again from the very ABC: technology, science, wealth, how to be rich. The circle moves star again. This is the circle, I called it the law of mediocrity. Poor countries go on trying to become richer. Richer countries start becoming poor. This has been the case up to now. History has moved in circles. It should move in a line. It should be linear, not circular. When it is linear, then it cannot be repeated. Then you go on and on. But that needs intelligence. To break out of this law of mediocrity, you need intelligence. To understand how it has been happening up to now. East was very rich. Then it's Gautam Buddha's, Lao Tzu's, Mahavira's. They condemned. It became poor. It became dependent on other people. Now it has reached to the very depth of poverty. To talk in India about meditation, I have felt as if I am doing a crime. People are hungry. They have asked me that if we do meditation, will our financial situation become better? And that's what Maharishi Mahesh Yogi goes on telling to them. These charlatans have some nerve. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi teaches to people that his transcendental meditation will make you prosperous in all possible ways. Materially, spiritually, psychologically, whatever is your need, he has the panacea. I cannot say that meditation will fulfill your physical needs. It is impossible for me to cheat in such a way. So even in India, while I was traveling, I was speaking only to the very rich people. I was condemned as rich man's guru. I said, this is not a condemnation. This is really the fact. I am the rich man's guru. Because only the rich man can understand what I am trying to say, convey. The poor man has needs, I know. But what I can offer to him will not meet his needs. I am not for him. Mother Teresa is for him. I am not for him. What can I do if I deal in some higher things? I don't own a grocery store. I cannot give you anything lesser than the ultimate consciousness. But for that, you have to be hungry. You are not hungry for that. I have to offer to you something, but you are not ready to receive it. So it is not my fault. Naturally, people from all over the world started coming to me. But these were all from rich countries, rich cultures, well educated, very intelligent people, young people. To them I could convey something was possible now. They were ready. They were open. They were finished with the marketplace, the pleasures of the body and the pleasures of the mind. They had had enough of it. They were at a point that if something else is not possible, then only suicide is the way to get rid of this whole nonsense called life. Sannyas is possible only when you are ready to commit suicide. Only at that critical moment, when nothing else matters, the old life is finished. Unless a new life begins, you are not going to continue to live in the old pattern. You will finish yourself. This is the moment when a man becomes a sannyasin. Your question is that Rome, its civilization, its great culture, suddenly fell and disappeared, leaving only beautiful ruins. It happened at a time when Christianity was at its peak, and Rome has become the citadel of Christianity. Yes, Christianity is responsible for Rome's fall. You will have to understand few things. Roman people were pagans. They had never been religious. They have never been interested in airy-fairy things. They were not esoteric at all. Very earthbound. Very earthly people. Solid. Christianity condemned them, condemned their paganism, condemned their life of eat, drink, and be merry. That was their whole religion in 3 words. The simplest religion in the world. You cannot make a more condensed catechism than this: eat, drink, be merry. That is the whole Roman philosophy. Christianity condemned them, and condemned so much that they stopped being pagans. They started becoming religious. They dropped their old way of living joyously, luxuriously. They dropped being warriors. They dropped being imperialists. They dropped being expanding. They started shrinking. And when they became Christians, they started believing blessed are the poor. And they wanted to get through the doors of heaven. They started becoming poor. First, psychologically, you start shrinking, and then outwardly you start shrinking. There was a time when all roads led to Rome. Rome was the world capital. No, Rome does not matter at all. Whether it exists or not will not make any difference. Who bothers about Rome now? This is what Christianity has done to the Roman Empire, culture, civilization. Just a condemnation of your material life. The condemnation of the Zorba, and the Roman people were just Zorbas. The trouble is, just by condemning the Zorba, you cannot transform people into Buddhas. If you condemn them as being Zorbas, you simply destroy them. You are not a help. You are simply poisoning them. The Zorba has to be made the foundation for the Buddha. Don't condemn the foundation, otherwise the whole edifice will become impossible. Christians committed the crime. Rome suffered. And the same is the situation of America today. It is at the peak of its wealth, scientific knowledge, technological expertise, and it is getting caught into the hands of the Christians. Christians have never been so powerful as they are powerful today in America. Americans should learn some lesson from Rome. Otherwise, history will be repeated and the law of mediocrity will go on functioning. But I don't think Americans are going to listen. The American President Ronald Reagan is a fanatic Christian and is trying in every possible way to make the country as Christianity oriented as possible. In fact, he thinks that Christianity is the only answer to communism. He is wrong. Christianity is not the answer to communism. In fact, communism is a byproduct of Christianity. It is that idiotic statement, "Blessed are the poor," which is the base of the whole communist philosophy. But Ronald Reagan is not a man of intelligence. He was just a poor third-class cowboy film actor. I have not seen a single statement from him which seems to be coming from an intelligent source. He is going to the Vatican, he is meeting to the Pope, and he is continuously talking about religion and Christianity and Christ. His idea is that against Russia, you don't have anything parallel to the ideology of communism. Democracy is not such a strong thing that it can make anybody fanatic. Have you seen any fanatic Democrats? It is a contradiction in terms. If you are a Democrat, you cannot be fanatic. So who is going to fight against the fanatic communist? Yes, a fanatic fascist can fight. A fanatic Christian can fight. A fanatic Mohammedan can fight. But remember one thing, it is really fanaticism that is going to fight. Communists are fanatic. They have an absolute faith that they are going to take over the world. I had one communist friend. He was really a great intellectual. He has written many, near about 100 books, all on communist theme, but in a very indirect way. Novels, but through the novel he is preaching the communist theme. So indirectly that you will be influenced by the novel that he has written are of the first rate. He was a first rate creative writer. But the result ultimately will be that he will be pulling you towards communism. His name was Yashpal. I told him that Yashpal, you are against all religions. Communism is against all religions. It is an atheist philosophy. But the way you behave and other communists behave simply proves that communism is another religion. He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I simply mean that you are as fanatic as any Mohammedan, as any Christian. You have your Trinity, Mars, angels, Lenin. You have your Mecca, Moscow. You have your Kaaba, Kremlin. You have your holy book, Das Kapital. And although capital is now 100 years old, you are not ready to change a single word in it. In 100 years' time, economics has changed totally. Das Kapital is absolutely out of date. He was ready to fight. I said, it is not a question of fight. Even if you kill me, that will not prove that you were right. That will simply prove that I was right and you could not tolerate my existence. You give me arguments. Communism has no arguments. I said to him, your whole philosophy is based that the whole humanity is equal, which is psychologically wrong. The whole psychological science says that each individual is unique. How unique individuals can be equal? But communism is fanatic. He stopped speaking with me. He stopped writing letters to me. I used to pass through his city, Lucknow. He always used to come to the station to see me. He stopped coming to see me. When many of my letters were not answered, I wrote a letter to his wife. She was a very loving woman. She wrote to me that you can understand. There is no need for me to tell you that he is a fanatic. And you touched his weakest point. Even I keep myself alert not to say anything against communism. I can do anything. I can say anything against him, but I should not say anything against communism, because that he cannot conceive, that anybody can be against communism. He told me once that we are going to take the whole world. I said, your project is a very small one. This earth is very small. Why don't you join in my project? He said, what is your project? I said, my project is very simple. I am a man of very simple taste and very easily satisfied. I am just going to take over the universe. Why bother about a small earth which will be included in the universe? No need to be worried about it. But communism believes it is going to take over the whole earth. And almost half of the earth they have already taken. Their fanatic attitude will create the reaction in America to become fanatically Christian. That seems to be the only alternative for them, but they don't know. You can survive communism, but you cannot survive fanatic Christianity. Just trying to save yourself from one danger, you are falling into a greater danger. I can show you the way how to survive communism. Not only you survive communism, but you can help the whole world to get rid of communism. It is very simple. Just make people more rich. Let poverty disappear. And there will be no communism left. Marx, in his best book, Communist Manifesto, declares in the end proletariat of the world, unite, because you have nothing to lose, and yet you have the whole world to gain. I am saying, if you want the world not to be communist, let everybody have something to lose, and he will never be a communist. Make people richer, and you can make. Now there is no difficulty. If you divert your attention from fighting with communism and pour your energies into making people richer and richer, and if the whole country becomes rich, so rich that even the iron walls of Russia cannot prevent people of Russia to see what is happening in America. They are poor. Just it has to be made clear to them that the only way to be rich is capitalism, and the only way to remain forever poor is communism. Christianity cannot do that. Christianity will kill you. Before communism kills you, Christianity will kill you. Christianity is really the father of communism. Trying to save yourself from the son, you are getting into the clutches of the father, who is far more dangerous, who has destroyed many civilizations before. But I suspect that any intelligent thing is going to be heard. The circle seems to be repeated. We have to be just helpless spectators. Because these idiots will not hear. Even if they hear, they will not understand. Even if they understand, they will not follow it. It is such a strange situation in Russia. I am thought to be American agent, sabotaging communism in the name of religion. In Russia they think I am certainly communist, and by creating a commune, I am creating the basis for communism. Communism comes from commune. The original idea in Marx's mind was of a commune. Because of the commune and the red robes, Just 2 days before, one of our Australian commune tried to purchase a holiday resort. It has a huge building. They wanted to make it a school for sannyasi children. It could manage at least 150 children, and the resort could become a beautiful commune. The commune is in the city, but they wanted to move out and to spread. And the fear went all over Australia. The whole media was full. On television, on newspapers. The same fear, just as we have heard here, that we are going to take over Vasco County. I am sitting here and they are talking in Australia that I am planning to come to Australia and we will try to take over. Already there are posters in Australia, better dead than red. It's strange that red color seems to have become monopoly of communists. Communists think I am against them. Capitalists think I am against them. Sometimes I wonder, am I against myself? But if there is even a little bit of intelligence in America, then it is time to stop now. Otherwise, the country is going to have the same fatality that happened to Rome and Rome's civilization. Between these 10 years, all the decisions of the Supreme Court of America have become more and more favorable to the government against the individual freedom. They have been more protective in these 10 years. It was not the case before 10 years. Before 10 years, the Supreme Court of America was really a fair institution. And it was protecting the individual, which is helpless against the state, against the government. He has to be protected. His freedom of speech, his freedom of thinking, his freedom of living has to be protected. The code exists for that. Otherwise, the state, the monster of a state, can simply destroy your freedom, your democracy, your individuality. It is just a steamroller. It can just go on killing you. But between these 10 years, it has been a trend continuously that Supreme Court is supporting the government against the individual. And particularly at this moment, they are supporting too much for a simple reason, because 5 Supreme Court judges out of 9 are going to retire this year. It is a rare thing. The people who had made the Constitution had never thought about it. They had made in the Constitution that the Supreme Court judges will be appointed by the President, and for the whole lifetime, so they are not under any pressure. Once appointed, even the President cannot do anything. And they should not be elected, because election means politicians. They should not come through bureaucracy just by seniority, because seniority means by the time a person becomes senior enough, he is also senile enough to become a judge of the Supreme Court. If he has to move from the lower court to higher courts, state Supreme Court, then it is bound to be by the time he reaches, he will be 60, 65, almost senile. That's how it happens in India. Supreme Court judges are almost senile. One of my friends became the Supreme Court Chief Justice. He was first Chief Justice of Madhya Pradesh Supreme Court. Hidayatullah was his name, a Mohammedan. We became friends in a very strange way. I used to organize a World Religions Conference every year while I was in Jabalpur. Prominent intellectuals I invited from all over the country. Hidayatullah was a very cultured man, and he had just come to Jabalpur as the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. So I phoned him and asked him for an appointment. I invited him to preside over the conference at least one day. The conference is going to be for 7 days. There will be 7 presidents. One day you preside, any day you can choose, whenever you are free. He said, I would have loved, but the problem is, being Chief Justice, I should not participate in anything public. I should not come in contact with public. I should not become intimate with people. I should not have friends, because that can pressurize my judgment. I said, I don't know about your situation. I am determined to have you for one day as president. He said, how can you have if I am saying no? I said, we will see. Next day, I gave the press conference that Hidayatullah is going to be the president for the first day. And sent one taxi with a loudspeaker with a student in it, and told him the whole day you go around Hidayatullah's house declaring the same thing again and again. Unless he comes out, drag him insane. So that student went around his house declaring President Hidayatullah is going to preside the first day the World Conference of Religions. Of course, he was getting, in the newspaper he read, on the radio he heard, he said, this is something. And then this man was continuously, his wife told him, you better preside, that is simple, that is not such a big deal. And these people are not going to leave you. You go out, otherwise he will drive the whole family mad. He came out, asked the student that you go and tell your professor that I will be coming, but let this be the first and the last. He said, we never asked anybody to be the president in the conference. Again, we never do that. You don't be worried. That's how we became friends. Finally, he became the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of India. But by that time he was 70. When I saw him in New Delhi, he could not even recognize me. I said, Hidayatullah, you have gone really senile. He said, perhaps because I go on forgetting everything, but I have to pretend. Otherwise I will lose the service. So I keep quiet. I don't say anything that something wrong may be said. I am simply pretending, just passing. It is only a question of 2 years more. Why lose a good service, the greatest, highest salary, and the most prestigious position, because he gives the oath to the President of India. So in a certain way, there is a moment when he is higher than the President. American Constitution decided really something very significant, that the President will appoint. But history does not move according to your constitutions. They have never thought of a situation that 5 judges will be retiring in 1 year. If 1 judge retires, 8 judges are there. Even if the President puts his man, it makes no difference, because those 8 judges will be the majority. But this year it is going to happen that 5 judges are going to be appointed by Ronald Reagan. They are all going to be Christian fanatics. And seeing this, all the judgments of lower courts, state Supreme Courts are all going in favor of Ronald Reagan. Whatsoever he says now is right. Because now everybody is hankering to be appointed to the Supreme Court. And he will appoint only those 5 people who are going to support him in every way. Now the majority will be in his hands in the Supreme Court. For the first time in the American history, the Supreme Court will be under the thumb of the president. And the president is such an idiot. He is influencing the Supreme Court continuously. And it is becoming more and more a government agency rather than a protection for individual freedom. It is no more fair. It is no more the same institution it used to be. America has lost its one of the most beautiful things, the Supreme Court. And if the Supreme Court is in his hands, then he can enforce anything upon this country. And he wants to enforce Christianity. But let this be a reminder to all that Christianity means committing suicide and nothing else.